Hey guys, sorry. I'm starting the video a little bit late, but I'm gonna remove the alternator, replace it with this other alternator. First thing I did was remove the serpentine belt. I got the tensioner down there, lifted it up, removed the belt. I use a little hack where I hold it with the wrench that I'm using. I use a zip tie on the wrench against this right here, and it holds that up, and I can remove the belt freely without having to stress on that. So it's a little bit tricky, not tricky but interesting. So it uses different bolts. So here's a bolt right here on this side, that's a size 12. There's a bolt on the underside down here. I don't know if you can see that it's empty right there. That's also a 12. There's this connector here, the electrical connector for the battery post. That's this one. That's a size 10. And this broke off right here, this half, but I don't care because that one has a brand new half right there. And then there's a little connector back here that I didn't see. Thankfully I saw it before I removed the battery, or sorry, the other bolt over there, but that's a size 8. Thankfully on my 3/8 I have an adapter for a quarter, because man, it's crazy. I don't know how I would have broken those off. They're not tight, but with the small ratchet it would have been hard. This one you can break off with the a wrench. This one you might need a ratchet to make it easier. But the rest, definitely you're gonna need a deep socket 12 for that bottom one, and for the front one you can just go with the regular ratchet. It's fine. I'll update the video. I'm gonna see if I can take this out. I'm gonna take the bolt out and see if I can record myself doing it. And before I forget, disconnect the battery, because this is AC to DC conversion as far as the alternator goes, and you will shock the hell out of yourself. You might have a good chance, you will. So disconnect the negative battery side first. I disconnected both, why not? But yeah, just a heads up on that. And I did forget to mention that there is this adapter or connector here that goes to the back of this unit here. Just disconnect that as well. All right guys, so I'm just updating this really quickly. Sorry, I'm pausing and recording again. This thing was super stuck. I thought that was another bolt going crazy. I was looking at the new one for reference. It's just stuck. So I had to pry bar it from the top against the block, wedged the hell out of it, and it finally broke loose. So if it's really tight, just know that you just have to break it loose. I live in Cali, so I can only imagine if this thing is rusted over somewhere else. Good luck. So the way I'm removing it, I'm getting it close over here, trying to wedge it through these here. It's really tough with one hand, but Jesus Christ. All right, I mean, you can wedge it through here. Thankfully this is pretty flexible. This moved a little bit, but just wedge it at an angle. Hopefully the reinsert's just as easy, but this is it. Again, this one down here, use a deep socket for the 12mm. I always like to compare just to make sure this is the same one. Just because they give it to you at the parts doesn't mean that this is the right one. But if you hear that, the bearing was already going off on this one as well. Well, it makes a weird noise. It's free flowing, but it doesn't feel like it's catching everything. Compared to this one, I can feel this one grabbing on perfectly. So I'm glad that I got another one, because I thought it was a battery. Recharged it, battery was still good. This thing started idling weird as far as like the lights going off, so swap this bad boy out, see if this works. As far as the reinsert, and it's gonna be tricky with one hand, but let's see, get put it here. Alright, give me a second. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna pause it real quick. Let me see if I could just get in there real quick. So it does fit. You just need to wiggle it little by little. So just wiggle it slowly and surely. Always obviously keep an eye out on the line. Make sure you're not kinking it or ripping it. But let's see here. I'm gonna use two hands because it's gonna go deep and I'm not gonna be able to carry it with one. So let me go ahead and just put this in real quick. All right, it's in. Didn't mess up the lines or anything. Didn't even really mess with this either. All right, cool. Now everything you're just gonna reassemble backwards. I'm gonna start with this bolt so I can have one inside already. We'll just hand thread it. Let me see if it lines up. Okay. Well, hand thread this. Give me a sec. All right, cool. So this one's hand threaded in. I'm gonna start with the back first. That way it's not tough for me to put it on later. This is an 8mm. It has a little washer, so let me go ahead and do this with my two hands because I don't want to lose this. So give me a sec. Now that little piece that I hand tighten, it goes down vertical with this holder clip down, not down that way. Let me connect the rest. So now let me do this one for the battery and then I'm gonna finish off with the sensor. All right guys, for this one, as far as the terminal one, it's easy. There's one nut inside already that's gonna be used as your ground for that side over there, and you're just gonna insert this. You're gonna insert this inside. You're gonna take your new nut, and that's gonna be used on the outside. Let me go ahead and use my two hands so I don't drop it. I like to hand tighten it, but also use my socket already, hand tighten it, and then use the wrench or ratchet, sorry. So once you tighten it down, you're just gonna put your cover back on. That's that. Then you connect your sensor. Once you hear it click, just give it a double check and you're good. Let me connect the bottom bolt. The bottom one is a deep socket 12. So for the front side of the alternator, this is gonna be a single bolt. It's a smaller 12. On the back side, it's a deep socket 12 that's gonna go from the back to the front. So there's no bolt coming out from the front. It's gonna flush out to here. Just a heads up on that if you're looking for the bolt in the front. It's in the back for the bottom one. So same thing, once you have it in there, hand tighten it down as best as you can. Go from there. I removed the dipstick here as well. Just covered it up to make sure that nothing gets in there. But yeah, I removed the dipstick because it was in the way when I was removing the bottom bolt. So just a tip on that. Once you install that, you are good. Tighten down the 12 in the front, tighten down the 12 in the bottom, plug, connector, little bit back here, or the nut back here, and that's it. Then your next step is turn on or put on the serpentine belt. To install a serpentine belt, you need a 19mm wrench. I want to go ahead and lift up. You'll see that I use a zip tie, so I'm gonna hold it up and put the zip tie in here. Give me a second. All right, so one trick that I use with the wrench right here, you use the zip ties to hold it into this wrench right here, or whatever this is here that's sticking out. You're gonna zip tie that, and that's gonna hold the tensioner up in place. I might add that I swapped out the tensioner not that long ago, like maybe 2 weeks ago, and I have a video on that. I don't know if I'm gonna put it up or not though. But I swapped that tensioner out. That's why I'm not swapping it out. If you have it, it's the best time to get new tensioner, new serpentine belt. One trick that I learned on this car, the easiest way for me to install a serpentine belt is to get rid of this wheel cover here, or the wheel well. It's gonna be this push pin, this push pin that's in the back. There's only one, you'll know what I'm talking about, that's down here, and this push pin that's the first one holding this one up. With those four, you have enough to put this under your tie rods and all that stuff over here, your sway bars. So you'll be able to push it down under here and it'll hold that in place. And then you have access to all this right here. And the reason I like it this way is because the place that I like to push a serpentine belt over is gonna be this water pump because it's smooth. So I'll show you that right now. So my trick to put on the serpentine belt, I like to wedge the serpentine belt through here and I put it on the top. So I put it on that same pulley for the alternator, and I put it over the water pump pulley and under the tensioner. So it's pretty much like a wedge all the way down. Then I hold the serpentine belt from the top and I make my way down here, and then I play on this side with my hand. Keep in mind, I'm still holding on to the serpentine belt from the top of the alternator pulley to make sure it doesn't get out of the ribs. And while I'm holding it from the top, once I know that this side of the belt works its way over and I'm here, I let go of the top and then I put tension here so this doesn't get out of the ribs and that this doesn't get out of the ribs. And then I just put this over the water pump pulley. Since it's smooth, you're able to just literally push it over. You may need to use a wrench. Don't use a flathead side or don't use a Phillips. I'm talking about the round on the back of the wrench, and just push it through. You definitely don't want to take anything sharp on the belt. But yeah, you're just gonna play with it over, and then once you have it on there enough, you're gonna make your way to the top. So once you make your way to the top and you see that it's seated properly, that it's aligned properly, you're gonna go ahead and just release your tensioner. So you just lift up, take this off, or just cut it, whatever you want. Once you release, you just let it sit on there, and that's that. That's how you change out the serpentine belt on this setup here. In my case, I re-added it back on, but that's it. Once that's done, put everything back together. I'm gonna take that dipstick and put it back in before I forget, and then turn it on and hope that the alternator works.